Boom! You are live on the Truman Show with Frank, my
Here we are.
great brother Frank. How are you?
Doing well. Yeah, just
Yeah.
back again
There's a
on.
bit of
Mhm.
lagging, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe micro. Yeah, very
I think we're
noticed that
good.
a little bit too. But I can hear you though.
Yeah,
Everything
there's a little
seems.
delay, but we should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little lagging here and there, but
A
we'll see.
little.
Anyway,
Yeah.
if anything, I'll just log off this one. I'll, I'll just log off this one and maybe open Google Chrome instead. I think that's my mistake now. I went with the AVG browser or something that I have there. But if anything, we'll just change browser. But for
Okay.
now, we're going to go with our PT's book review, as always. A great pleasure, honor, and yeah, blessing to do that review with you. And also that PT gave us his blessing to do it. And so, no, that's all. Good vibes, good vibes. That's all we deal with. No negativity, no bad mind stuff, only good vibes.
Super
So,
great.
Frank, we're going to start with a modern event line. I think that's where we were. And
Yes.
you do the
For
English,
anyone.
I do the French, and as usual, we exchange our thoughts. Yeah,
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
perspective,
For
thoughts, whatever you
anyone
want to call it.
following along, it's a 191 in the English version.
Yeah, page 191 in PT's book. Yeah.
Yes. A modern event line. They wear suits and ties in warm/hot climates. Then they scream for an AC. The AC air and the hot cold variation makes them sick. Then they go to a doctor who gives them some pills. The pills have side effects, which make them even sicker. Then they take more pills, and so on and so forth. It's called being modern and civilized. After all, in this world, nothing is considered more civilized than a suit, something to cover their gross skin fully, and a tie, dog tie.
Yeah. Une ligne événementielle moderne. Il porte costume et cravate en climat chaud, puis il crie pour une clim. L'air de la clim et la variation chaud et froid les rend malades. Puis ils vont voir un docteur qui leur donne des comprimés. Les comprimés ont des effets secondaires qui les rendent encore plus malades. Puis ils prennent plus de comprimés et ainsi de suite. C'est appelé être moderne et civilisé. Après tout, dans ce monde, rien n'est considéré plus civilisé qu'un costume, quelque chose pour cacher leur peau répugnante et une cravate. Une cravate de chien. Yeah, the tie is really an emblem of you're tied to the system. You're tied to the system. I've personally never
Got me
wore
about
that stuff. Never. Oh no,
I know.
it feels so tight, and no, I never liked the feeling. First of all, I think I wore it once when I got married, and that's it.
Right.
I think when I put the suit on, and even that, it's so inorganic. The suit also, it's most expensive designer suit are not made of quality material. They're made of polyester and different type of plastic, maybe mixed with a bit of cotton and stuff. But also, what we do when we mix materials like this, mix metals, mix fabrics and stuff, it often cancel the frequency of each other. Like if you mix plastic with organic cotton, I'm sure it's not so vibrant after. So
Right.
same like anything bad that you mix with good, often it doesn't have a great result. But
Yeah.
often also the good can overcome the bad. So we can't forget that also. It's not because you put something bad into something necessarily automatically that it will become all bad. But they say one rotten apple in the basket has good chance to make the
Spoil the
other
bunch.
apple rots or stuff. Yeah,
Right.
spoil the bunch. But yeah, the tie and stuff. Look, that's what people do, and that air conditioning. Okay, thing. First of all, en français là, c'est air conditionné. Okay, and we are conditioned. We are conditioned to think I think that's why we have no problem putting on the AC air conditioning because en français, on dit t'as l'air conditionné. Quand t'as l'air, when you have the air, it's like you have the rhythm. You know, you have the rhythm, t'as l'air d'une chanson, l'air de. So, t'as l'air conditionné, but air also refers to the air. But you can have
Mhm.
un air. Quand t'as un air, is you have a way of being, you have a. Toi, t'as l'air con, or toi, t'as l'air stupide. It's you look stupid. Quand je dis t'as l'air stupide, is that you look stupid. You know?
Mhm.
So, all this air thing has to do, air conditionné. Oui, oui, t'as l'air conditionné à penser. Je l'ai dit souvent, ça. I've said it often that people look conditioned to think. And aren't they conditioned to think? Yes. So I think this whole hair conditioning is only a reflection of what's inside us. Once we realize that we are conditioned to think, maybe we'll let go of the air conditioning because it's not really good for you. Also, the variation in temperature. I
Right.
personally do not like that stuff. I've never wanted it in my house. Maybe in my bedroom to sleep if it's very hot on very hot nights, but even that I prefer to have with the last 2 years we didn't even put it on. Me and my wife, we said fuck it. We prefer open the window full, have the
Hmm.
fresh air coming in, and
Right.
even if it's hot like what it's here in Quebec, it's going to be hot a few days per year, really really hot. What you
Right.
can deal with it. Like I can't wait to be sweating from the sun. Honestly, I've been cold all freaking winter. I'm done. So now I want the heat. So I'm not gonna complain when the heat comes. Like I'm gonna enjoy it and bask in the sunlight and in the heat for sure.
Right.
But once if you don't appreciate love, what you have in the moment, often you're just gonna want to step to the other moment, the next and the next and the next, instead of impregnating yourself fully in the moment and embrace the heat because it's much better to be hot than to be cold. In my opinion, you can. I prefer 40 degrees weather outside than -40. It's not fun at all
Yeah.
because there's a lot more uh, risk associated with cold than hot. Like you can always cool yourself down, plunge yourself into a river or
Right.
an inflatable pool like I have. No
Right.
chlorine. Oh, there's chlorine in the water. But they say fluoride too, but I'm not sure if it's fluoride. Honestly, it might be just acid. They call it fluoride, but might be just acid after all.
Mm.
Not an expert into this, but I've heard some stuff about it. Stuff that can dissolve concrete. They put that into water apparently. So
Right.
that's another thing. But that's another topic. Now the topic of the tie, exactly the dog tie. It's
Hmm.
exactly what it is. It's it's same like those chains. People wear a lot of gold chains and stuff.
Hmm.
Now maybe there's something good wearing also metal around the neck. Maybe not my thing, but people love gold chains and stuff. It's the
Right.
same principle as a bit as the tie. You know, you put something around your neck, and yeah, it's very. And then that's it. The AC thing that people get sick because they pass their whole days. But I never got it. Also, what's the point of having an AC in your home? What you don't go outside, you don't enjoy. Often it's people that are stuck inside and love to be inside because I don't know. To me, life happens on the outside, not in your home. Might happen now in my home, but mostly it's outside. We should be
Hmm.
in nature most often, and that also has very good. Why leaves are all greens and stuff. And when you touch something in the summer and it's very hot, okay, you touch something outside, touch the concrete or the asphalt, or it's very hot. Why are the leaf not hot on the trees? Touch a leaf and it's not hot.
Right.
Touch the grass. Why can't you lay in the grass and the grass is not burning?
Right.
Good question, eh?
Uh-huh.
Chlorophyll apparently in the plant, everything that is green reflects the UV light. So it's like reflector's mirror. And apparently, if you put a UV spectrum analyzer on your analysis thing on the tree, it's gonna light up all white because of the light reflection happening. So that's why it's good to be surrounded in nature by greenery, by green, to be in nature instead of being inside with your AC. Go outside, and that's why you sit under a tree. It's cool because the
Right.
tree act as an air conditioned thing. It reflects the heat with its leaves and all this. That's why they have no leaf in the winter, because it's not hot. It's not necessary in the winter. It's not hot.
Mhm.
So you have the cold air and stuff, and the trees are protected also. The sun will not burn the trees in the winter. The air is too cold. So that's why in the summer probably they grow leaf as a not a defense mechanism, but as a natural mechanism to cool down also the earth instead of an air conditioning.
Right.
But yeah, that's my opinion on the AC stuff.
Well, yes, I love how P kind of puts it all under the banner of a modern event line. Because I don't know if you can hear it. There's sounds like some ambulance driving by.
Yeah, but it's no big deal. I don't hear it that much.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna
No, it's fine.
put the relevance to what today is modernity. In terms of like what we call civilization, modern things. They're actually like we're in a state of emergency, and that's kind of why I was pointing out that siren coming by, because what are we doing to ourselves? We're actually like starting to put ourselves in a state of like desperation, where like time is running out and people are getting sick, we're polluting the planet, so many different things are going on. People are like losing their senses, they're losing their capability to do things that make sense, to be able to care about themselves and other people and stuff like that. And we see this happening in so many different ways. But you can, like P is pointing out, the little things, like this whole, the way that we, dress ourselves, and then we dress ourselves in all these unnatural, stuffy and itchy kind of suits and things like that. And then as soon as we aren't basically putting the right type of clothes and things on ourselves, we're causing a problem, and then we want to fix that problem with another unnatural solution, which is to blast ourselves with all this, unnaturally cold air. In which, like, if you just take a step back, there's actually you're causing a lot of problems for yourself unnecessarily. You don't have to find yourself in those kind of situations. Of course, it is the state that we're in, because say people are working these kind of jobs that you have to put on these kind of clothes, then you just find yourself in a kind of trapped situation. But there's a lot of different things. Maybe you've probably seen, and maybe some other people have heard of these. There's these particular types of homes that they built in certain places. They're called earth ships. And it's kind of like they'll build a mound of earth, and then you build a home into the side of it, and they'll run pipes that goes from the outside, and then those air channels go through the earth, where the earth is actually cooler underneath in the summertime, and so the air goes through those pipes, it cools down, and then it comes into the home, and it's like a natural cooling system. And it's not like you're having to use all this Freon and all these unnatural things to make an air conditioning system for your home. And then you've seen those pictures of places in cities and very metro type of areas where there's just tons of parking lots, concrete, all this kind of stuff. The radiation, or the heat that's radiating off of all those surfaces, and then they compare it to a place that has more trees, more shade, more of these things with the chlorophyll, and it's like a 20 plus degree difference in these places, and that's what nature has, like natural cooling systems, so that we don't get cooked like we're on a frying pan or something, you know what I mean? But we've made this concrete jungle all around us, and then we're experiencing all these problems from it, when we didn't have to make that problem for ourselves in the first place. But there's a lot of like things that are so upside down or turned backwards. Yeah, go.
Maybe also with a better food intake. I don't want to use the word diet, but a better food intake, more green stuff into your food intake.
Mhm.
I was going to say your diet, but
Right.
into your food stuff. I catch myself all the time. Struggle with
Right.
words all the time. You know, if you
Mhm.
don't struggle with your words, there's something wrong because you don't think. It's clear to me. But yeah, if you eat more greens, maybe you will produce also because you're eating the chlorophyll, so maybe you will prevent like sunburns and stuff like this. Maybe people that have sunburns is also related to the poor food intake that they have on a daily basis. So eat
Mhm.
more greens. Maybe it will protect your skin when you expose yourself to the sun. It makes sense to me. Like I've never put sunscreen or anything. I never get sunburn. I have a good food regime and stuff, so I
Right.
keep greens and stuff. But I mean, you have to realize that stuff. And if you think it's often people don't think that, oh, at the base, it's maybe the food I eat that cause sunburn. It's no, let's put a cream on, a toxic cream, and let's even cook it in the sun even more. Cook it into
Right.
our skin, like super crazy. No? But
Yeah.
if you eat better food, probably it would have an effect on protecting your skin from the elements. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
You are
exactly.
what you
And
eat. Like, if you burn in the sun, it's not normal. Like
mhm.
I don't like. Is it normal to have sunburn? I don't think so.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely certain kind of, people who have like a lighter toned skin, who have less melanin, they have less of a ability to kind of, you know, not become like scorched by the sun. And plus, it's just there's a certain um, amount of sensibility with like how you like what kind of exposure you give to yourself. I mean, the sun is most easily to be in like the early part of the day or like the late afternoon and the evening. In the strongest peak part of the sun, for people who have a lighter toned skin, it's better to be in something like a little bit more shaded, or you can have something like a nice hat that kind of gives you a brim of shade or something like
Yeah,
that for some protection. But other people with more melanin in their skin, they can actually take a little bit more sun without getting burned or whatever. But yeah, I think our food intake definitely can affect how we respond to our environment and the elements and the sun and things like that. So that's definitely something to consider. I don't know what how it all works officially, but certainly
yeah,
in terms of the Ayurvedic protocol, it suggests to eat foods that are going to be more cooling, like like mint or cucumber or things like that, things that are going to be cooling in the hot time of the year. And then the cool time
yeah,
of the year, you eat things that are more warming, warm soups, or things that might have a little bit more spice to it, cinnamon, ginger, things like that. And those can kind of keep your internal state more
yeah.
balanced in terms of like how the outside environment is in that time of year.
And
But yeah, just
maybe
coming
that's
back
why
to
we're more. I was gonna say maybe we're more prone, like you said, to eat greens in the summer because the sun is out and we're
yeah.
outside. So naturally we go like I love eating salads in the
Oh,
summer, where in the winter it might be a bit less, but it's more hot stuff and to keep the inside warm and stuff, maybe.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't know. It's like you said, soup and stuff. I love soup. I love pea soup.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, you kind of just eat per the season. I mean, that's the Ayurvedic protocol.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
you also eat that there's you kind of eat what's in season in terms of when it's time, when the berries are out, that's when you're eating lots of berries. Whenever there's more greens and things like that, that's when you're eating more.
Yeah.
Kind of go with
Nature. Like,
yeah, with what's available for you at the time. I mean, there's a reason why things ripen at certain times of the year, and also certain foods are able to kind of preserve themselves longer, like a butternut squash. That's also called a winter squash. You can eat that kind of food because it's shelf stable. It can last, for some months without going bad, and so it's one of those kind of hardier foods for people who live in places like we do, where there's long, cold winters. You can't grow as much food. You grow a nice crop of that winter squash, and you have a harvest of it, and it'll last you, until spring comes.
You put it in some kind of cold room. If you have the possibility to have a cold room, my grandfather had that when I was young. He was storing all his stuff in a cold room, dug in the ground and stuff.
Yeah. It's a little cellar kind of thing.
Yeah, a little cellar in the ground, and he was putting his squash, his potato, his onion there, everything, and it was good for all winter.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, definitely.
It's the natural tech.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. More natural.
Yeah.
So,
back on this, just to finish out this vlog, the whole thing, it says it's called being modern and civilized. After all, nothing is considered more civilized than a suit to cover the gross skin and a dog tie. Yeah, I mean, it basically just shows that you've signed up to be, if, for instance, if you're in prison, they give you a certain uniform that you have to wear, and so that's the uniform that, okay, whoever that's kind of the uniform that you have to go by if you're going to be trying to compete or work in the corporate world and things like that. And it is symbolic, that they've got you by the neck, they and like you were saying with all the gold chains, to me, it's very symbolic of, you're in chains, really, I mean, do you care whether your handcuffs are gold or platinum or silver or whatever? You're still handcuffed, you're not freed up. Like, does it matter like what kind of metal they got you by the collar by? That's so when I see all these people these celebrities or rappers or whoever, and they got all these big chains, the more chains you have, the more trapped you are. It's kind of symbolic to me.
As within, so without.
But not that you can't adorn yourself with nice things. You can have rings and all these kind of things, but when you're doing it in the way that is I mean, it just literally looks like, you're just.
I'm sure, like I was talking to Nick and Crystal. I always say Crystals. Crystal. Right. I even live, I said Crystals. No, Crystal. And we were talking about, she makes jewelry, but jewelry with copper and good metals and good precious stone and stuff that is with high frequency. Now, gold must be a high frequency also. That's why. But like you said, it's the idea of wearing it. Like, why do you need a big gold thick chain and stuff? And never really. And anyway, why spend your money in this? Why don't you spend it in good food? The good food, the good healthy food is very expensive often. So instead of buying gold chain, invest in yourself. Instead of investing in gold, what, you're going to bring your gold with you when you die? No. So, but you're might die a bit sooner if you're too focused on gold and buying gold. Because now you don't consider your body in the experience. Oh, I reached out to Terrence Howard. You know that guy, Terrence Howard?
Right. Uh-huh.
I reached out to him on Instagram to have him on the Truman Show.
Oh, did he respond?
I don't know, but I'm trying. I'm trying. It's a long shot, but I'm trying. I think it's gonna work. I'm sending good vibe and stuff, and
he was on like Joe Rogan and all that.
He does a lot of podcasts. He goes around, and I seen him again with two other guys. I'm like, okay, you should come on the Truman Show, you. So I like his reasonings a lot. So it would be interesting to hear him. Just it's the accolade here. So no, for sure, Go natural. Never mind the gold, the ties, the watch, all this stuff. But the next one is ties and watches, because there's
Ties.
watches also that is also a big issue.
Yes, exactly. Ties and watches. The two main emblems of evil's slavery, a tie and a watch. Why wear a machine right next to your skin, something which measures time in a way very different from the heartbeat or breath? Unless one wants to become a machine oneself or join the Borg army like Darth Vader. It is bad for one's physical and spiritual health in no uncertain terms. Can't be for reasons of comfort, can't be comfortable to wear a tie, a noose, around the neck either. Even animals like dogs try to take off the ties people put around their neck. So even animals are more sensitive and sensical than so-called creatures who pass off as human beings. People on this planet are beyond practicality and comfort. Wearing the slave insignias of the evil system is more important than anything else.
Yep. Cravate et montre en français. Les emblèmes principaux de l'esclavage du mal, une cravate et une montre. Pourquoi porter une machine juste à côté de votre peau? Quelque chose qui mesure le temps d'une manière très différente du battement du cœur et de la respiration. Sauf si on cherche à devenir une machine ou rejoindre l'armée Borg, comme Darth Vader. C'est mauvais pour la santé physique spirituelle, en termes non équivoques. Ça ne peut pas être pour des raisons de confort. Ça ne peut pas être confortable à porter. Une cravate, nœud coulant autour du cou non plus. Même les animaux, comme les chiens, essaient d'enlever les nœuds que les gens leur mettent autour du cou. Donc, même les animaux sont plus sensibles et sensés que les soi-disant créatures qui se font passer pour des êtres humains. Les gens de cette planète sont au-delà du confort et du côté pratique des choses. Porter les insignes de l'esclave du système du mal est plus important que tout. And you see that it's very uncomfortable, that tie thing, because as soon as I see someone with a tie, the first chance they get is to loose up the tie. You know, once they get to a setting more relaxed, they're not in the office or whatever, they get out the office in their car, they will loose up the tie. Right. Maybe it's because it's not so comfortable. Yeah. I never really wore that kind of stuff. It's always like, what is that? The tie. So right there, if you get that feeling, I think you're a bit more natural than someone who really doesn't get the idea of the tie, the watches, and the unnatural stuff that you wear, especially watches often. And now they make them with chips inside. Like the other day, I was at the grocery store, and there's a girl that take out their wrist and pay with her watch.
Yeah.
Me, I still have my plastic card in my big wallet and stuff. I don't have no watches, no nothing. So I take out I feel archaic. I'm like, where am I? Is it Twilight Zone here? What is this?
Yeah, one day they won't be able those cards anymore.
Yeah, one day I don't know where it's gonna go, but anyway, I will not go in that direction as long as I can. I will prevent myself from getting unnatural the most possible, but that's what it does. All those watches, suits, and ties, and it makes you very unnatural, and you think, but you don't feel ashamed. You feel okay because, and the worst, because everyone does it, and the worst is, you go out and you're not really comfortable in that stuff. Like we said, it's often very staticky. It's poor material, like very low grade material, but they sell you that at a high price, just like Lululemon and all those places that make plastic legging and sell them at a high price.
Right.
Like designer suit, you're going to pay a lot of money for that stuff. Okay, it might be more comfortable if you get it designed and fit for yourself. I don't know. I've never got a custom-made suit. I don't know how it feels, but just the idea of having a tie. Now, not everyone goes out and wear a tie also. They wear the suit. but the suit is still uncomfortable. You're hot. You're not. The material is not breathable. So you're stuck no matter what into something very unnatural. So why don't you have like nothing on your skin? It's even better, especially in the summer. Like just wear nothing. I have a pair of shorts. I go around and that's it. That's fine for me. But yeah, for sure, if I go out, but just like, is there something more comfortable than just a t-shirt? Like just a cotton t-shirt and
Yeah.
like a pair of shorts and like you don't need to be fancy. Often the fanciness and the fancy dress are not so fancy. So
Right.
that's my point. But yeah, it's very much unnatural, all these stuff, and I'm sure you can extend a bit more.
Yeah, the we were definitely kind of hitting on this point, and P naturally went that direction with the sequence in which he is putting these P logs. But the one before, in which we're talking about the chain and how it's really symbolic, basically just of being trapped and your enslavement. And then that's exactly where P takes it here. The two main emblems of evil slavery: a tie and a watch. Because the whole watch thing is like, you divide your life into time, and then you're just like blocking out the time that you can give away your existence, to basically be, some pawn to make money for somebody else, and to just make enough for yourself to get by. Of course, the more of the suit game that you play, the more potential of fake numbers you can earn. But you're also, very potentially, depending on what you're doing, hurting yourself and, not setting yourself up for, the actual meaning and purpose behind life. That's really, we're here. Like, life is an opportunity for us to refine ourselves, become, more, being able to exist in a harmonious way with ourselves, with other people, with our environment, with animals, with the nature, and to develop like a reverence and respect for nature, for divine, and not to be, a rude boy, or not to be somebody who's just going to be disrespectful, and that is not the kind of attitude that's going to open the doors to higher realms for you. We're here to develop a certain type of attitude, energy, and behaviors that's going to allow us, grant us access to like higher living, more positivity, more pleasure, more like beauty. And the more that we're kind of like anti nature, anti divine, then those doors close. But the more that we can work on being centered, speaking truth, sharing that love, that care, and that concern for ourselves and for others, the more the doors of divine open to us, But of course, we're living in a time in which they're trying to hide that that's actually what's going on in terms of your life that you're living. But yeah, the whole thing with the watch piece, mentioned that in the past, and has gone into more explanation too, just about how it really isn't good for, the heart rhythm. They call it the HRV, I think, heart rate variability. That is part of the thing that forms the basis for our immune system. And if we're trying to make, if we wear so many watches and things like that, kind of dialed in computed tick that's like on a grid like that, that gives our system and our heart rate a less of a chance to have a variability that's going to be able to respond to whatever is going on internally with our system. And so that's just a scientific fact. It's so interesting that P's able to relate that.
I think it comes also to a war between natural and unnatural, good and bad, and always like that. Like it's, if you're in the garden, if you engage in natural behavior like gardening and outside stuff, you will not be so much in the sight, in the tie, in the suit, and the watch and stuff. you won't care about that stuff because you're natural. You go with you look at the sun and you know what time is it in the day. Like often
Right.
I'm outside, I don't watch, but I just watch the sun and I can tell my wife sometimes I'm just like 10 minutes apart from the real time. Like if
Yeah.
you're in sync with the internal clock, you will be in sync with the outside clock, which is the
Hmm.
sun. If there
Right.
is one, it's the sun that determines the time of the day, the early in the day, late in the day. To me,
Right.
it's okay to being in the present and the now, but there's also a future, and I consider this. So it's good to, yes, embrace the moment, be in the now, and that's what detaching you from all these unnatural stuff, which is watches and that will bring you back to really recognize what is natural, the natural clock. You don't need a watch. And why are you so stressed out by time? Like it's because
Right.
maybe you have too much to do also with time, like work and stuff. I get it. People are at work and need to get there to a certain time. But if you're on a natural rhythm living off of nature, which is not the case for most, I get it. But if you're in nature doing nature stuff, you're not gonna have a watch.
Yeah.
Come on, that's gonna stress you out. You have so much stuff to do during a day. And in a way, I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of stuff I have to do. You think I want to wear a watch to stress me out even more?
Right.
No, no, no. I want to slow down time. Also, as you get older, you want to slow down time because
Yeah.
you have not as much as when I was 20. I realized that. So my goal is to slow it down. So why would I wear a watch to know the time of that? Okay, it's good for reference. We come here, we set a time.
Yeah.
But it's not something you should like consider God the time or something. For some
Yeah,
people, it's
and you don't have to
everything.
you don't have to strap it to your pulse
Yeah,
point. You know,
yeah.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, Pete's mentioned, everybody everybody's got a phone these days, like if you really need to know the time, or like,
On your phone. Like
yeah, time
that's
on the phone. So
the good point you make there because we all have the time in the phone. So why you need a watch today?
yeah,
Like it's
like, well,
you
yeah,
do everything on your phone anyway. So
uh-huh.
just use your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but even the phone is a bit darkness in there. But
Yeah, yeah,
I
but
think it's a balance between everything. Live a balanced life, and exactly,
yeah.
you don't
And
need.
P makes a good point too here in the end, where he's like, even animals are more natural than what we call
Yeah,
humans today. Because like you
yeah,
put something like a collar on them, and like like just like, I just want to wear the skin that divine gave me.
yes.
Not, don't like strap me with all this accoutrements that are unnecessary.
No,
And
no,
then
no.
I'd like the point that you were saying too, where what, does anything feel more natural and comfortable than just like a shirt? It's like comfortable casual clothes. And we can, like, if there's like an event that we're going to, we can make ourselves look good, and like put things, or like kind of have, you know clothes that we wear that are still natural, that kind of just like spruce ourselves up. But we don't have to do this whole wearing plastic suits and all this kind of stuff.
And to be honest, ask any woman, probably they will tell you that a man is much more handsome in a white t-shirt and a pair of jeans than a suit.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I don't think all women look up to men in suits.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've never had that feeling, and I think they find us a lot more handsome just being natural and with natural clothes and not putting 7 layers on you just
Yeah.
to look good. Like I don't know, it's not my. I don't get it, but anyway, yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
Some people do get it. I don't judge anyone here if you wear a tie, and maybe it's required for your workplace also. But we're just stating the fact that it might be hurting us more than doing good to us. So that's it. Next is the mats. The mats, and that's good. We were talking exactly about Terence Howard, and he's exposing the fakery in the mat, and that's a good reflection because he said if we multiply, he said why 1 times 1 equal 1? It's supposed to be a multiplication. You're
Right.
supposed to add like 2 by 2 times 2. gives you 4. But why 1 by 1 multiplied by 1 still gives you 1? That's kind of weird. Why is it called the multiplication?
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I like his math thing, and then he goes with the square root and the x3 and stuff, and it all come back to like even the maths I think are like fake or stuff made up.
Yeah.
to fit
Yeah, I mean,
this
there's like divine
paradigm.
mathematics, there's and certainly like
It
yeah,
doesn't add up.
right? Yeah, there's so many different ways in which they have us thinking reality's one way, but it's actually another. I mean, the whole world is
Yes, it's all
such an
inverted.
illusion
You know
right
that.
now.
Yeah. So the maths, I'll let you go on with this one.
Yes, yeah, we'll
See
go
if
with
it adds up.
Yeah, right. The maths.
Oh,
The
no,
maths
so-
of people's lives on this planet just doesn't add up. Marijuana plus yoga classes plus stressful relationship with a retarded boyfriend plus high functions plus 9 to 5 grind plus self-loathing sobbing plus mantra chanting equals question mark. Another equation. TV dinners plus sodas plus jogging plus meditation plus corporate job plus cigarettes plus gym plus alcohol plus love dogs plus eat meat of other animals equals question mark. Nothing coherent is the only answer one can give for sure. Maybe it makes sense to them. Maybe they can add it up to put positive numbers in front of soul evolution.
No, it's maybe that's why also the math on the outside doesn't add up because it doesn't add up inside. So it makes
Yeah.
sense now
Right.
why the maths is wrong. So les maths de la vie, les maths de la vie des gens de cette planète sont juste incorrects. Marijuana plus classe de yoga, relation stressante avec un petit ami attardé, fonction de ruche, corvée de 9 à 5, plus haine de soi en sanglots, plus les chants de mantra, égale, point d'interrogation. Dîner devant la télé et soda, jogging, méditation, travail en entreprise, cigarette, gym, alcool et aimer les chiens, plus manger la viande d'autres animaux, égale, point d'interrogation. Rien de cohérent est la seule réponse qu'on peut donner à coup sûr. And PT, that's one thing. One thing, if I can summarize all my interaction with PT on YouTube, would come down. The one thing I always remember is that we are perfect fractal, but very incoherent. And that's the one thing I always point to is, okay, you are a perfect fractal from the source, but you're not coherent with what it is to be a human.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we look up to animals, like all the animal kingdom, because they're perfect fractal, perfect coherency. It is perfect creation. But you have sabotaged yourself to a point that you have become so incoherent that you mix everything together. Like you sit in front of the TV, like he says, but you do yoga and stuff. Like the whole thing makes you very incoherent with what you should be doing here and what you should do with your body and stuff. But listen, it's something that we must learn, I think, what to do here. That's where the lies start, with you pretending what to do here and knowing the math. You think you know the maths and everything is going to add up because, hey, you're on hurt. You know what to do? No, that's the thing. We don't know, and often even confronted with something very shocking within ourselves, we will still not know what to do because we have never known what to do. And even when we get into, like, we say, and you end up in the hospital or stuff, or you still don't know what to do because you have never known what to do here. So the learning attitude has to be there to reach that coherency. Like, that's what I hope one day, that I become perfectly coherent. I don't know if
Oh,
that,
yeah.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible because I'm talking about it. So
Right.
if I talk about it, it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can stop human will. So if I have the will to to become perfectly coherent. I will one day with enough effort, enough focus on it.
Right.
Most probably, I will reach a higher state of being.
Mhm.
I think I'm on the way to there. I still have a lot to learn, though.
Yeah.
I just woke up from a huge nightmare 10 years ago. I just woke up from a huge nightmare. So now I have to put myself back on track with, that's it, good coherency also. And yeah, that's what I remember from all the stuff I retain. I've done a lot, but it comes to that is we're very, very incoherent with what it is to be human. And PT expose it here pretty well. Like we mix a dinner in front of the TD with soda, with jogging after mid station. You go work in an enterprise and you smoke cigarettes, and oh, now you go to the gym. Oh,
Right.
but at night you're gonna engage in alcohol, and oh, but you love dogs too, but you eat animals. Like the
Right.
whole thing about love also is such a hype and a buzzword in this world, love. Until you become love, you cannot talk about love. Like you have to become the word in a physical form. So you have work to do because you have been on the dark is all the dark is the eight is the low vibration is that's what the high frequency is love. So once you reach that high frequency of love, definitely your life will change, your perspective will change, everything, and you will start being more coherent because that's what you are, a love and light being, not here to live in hate and darkness. Like most people are trapped in darkness without even knowing because they're hiding also from the light. Like whatever you want to hide yourself with, sunglasses or whatever it is. I said it often, take these freaking glasses off, expose yourself to the sun. It's good for your health,
Right.
good for your eyes. Like I'm not born with a pair of sunglasses on my face.
Right.
So I will not wear these. And even in the summer, I go out on the bike, but I bought a pair of glasses to put in my face because the
Right.
bugs and the wind, but they're clear. They're
Yeah.
clear.
Hmm.
Like I didn't want to have tinted glasses, and I looked a while for it, but I found it on the Amazon. And yeah, that's it. I wear goggles, but clear. You don't need to have a freaking tinted, and it puts you a kind of asleep. Like it's not good for your internal circumvent clock, or they call it. Like
Hmm.
to put yourself in darkness in the daytime. Like it's
Right.
daytime, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you put your dark sunglasses on. It's like, oh wow, is it nighttime? Like your brain gets all fucked up too.
Yeah.
That's how you become also not synchronized with time, and you cannot really tell the time of the day often because you have so much unnatural processes going on and that you're attached to that you even lose track of yourself in the process, and you think you're a perfect you think your math adds up, but no, it
Right.
doesn't.
Exactly.
Rien de cohérent, la seule réponse qu'on peut donner à coup sûr, for sure, you can always say it's incoherent. Like that's why I retain the most from all my talks with PT. Perfect fractal, perfect coherence. That's animals and the rest and the trees and the river and the river uh, keeps flowing, does its job. So as the tree keep growing leaves and fruit and stuff.
Right.
So it does its job, but you, not so sure about that. Humans, I'm not so sure sometimes. It's very dark. It's very, but also we have the possibility to reverse this. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
just you have to have the will to do it.
Hmm.
Action. Like action is paramount.
Right.
So Frank, give me your mat. It adds
Yeah.
up. I'm sure
This
it's
is
gonna add up.
right. This is a great P-log. Yeah, it definitely points out, yeah, the contradictions that almost all of us have lived. I mean, definitely not almost, but certainly all of us have lived all these contradictions. Not all these ones here specifically, but different things. You see people and they say, "Oh, I want good health. I want to feel good. I want to live positively, but they're doing all these things that are sabotaging themselves or preventing themselves from actually being able to live like that, you know? So it's really great hearing Peace advice, because he really brings it down to like the practical, basic points that if you're living in a human body, this is you live this kind of, you take this kind of action, and then it's gonna equal a certain result. So we have to feed ourselves well. We need to connect with the ground, the nature, the earth. Like we have to ground ourselves. We have to we should speak the right kind of things. We should hold the right kind of posture. And if we do all these things, there are often times in our lives, hopefully less common, but there are unforeseen circumstances that might put us in a scenario where, we're confronted with some challenges that, but that's just the nature of what we have to deal with here. But at the same time, like our goal and what we're trying to do is trying to make everything to kind of go in the same direction. We're not trying to say, okay, I want to live positively, but I'm going to do all these kind of things that are going to make me kind of like, go wacko or.
But also, like you said, something's going to happen to us, and we were talking before coming here, and maybe these things happening to us are a sign also to be more present, be more grateful. If you wake up, first light, and you feel good, give thanks for life. Give thanks for life.
Totally.
Do something. Action times action equal reaction. So you're going to have the same effect. Often we don't think we're supported or stuff in this world, but the moment you start taking action, the same kind of stuff will come back to you, and sometimes a tenfold, like overwhelming blessing, or call it the gratitude. Once you start being grateful and give thanks for life and give thanks every day that you have, that you feel good and stuff. Even the ones you don't feel good, give thanks. You're still there breathing.
Yeah.
Like as long as you that's the only thing that's a certainty, is that you're here and your heart beats and you breathe.
Yes.
All the rest, you have to be willing to be mobile with everything else and change and bring a new vibe in and stuff. It's a new day, new vibe, new energy. It's not the same day. Like yesterday for me, yesterday is yesterday. Today is today. But there's also tomorrow. So what I do today will have effect on tomorrow. And it's why you should do something in the present if you want your future to, like, it's like planting seed. Like Stevie said, you plant seed and you just wait. You just wait. At one point, they will grow and produce fruit and stuff. But patience is power. Definitely, we're too impatient and too much looking for gratification along the way, and that's why the math doesn't add up. Also, like you get yourself to a point where you just take action, and you take action for the greater good, not just in the direction of your own self, but be on the higher and divine payroll. It's the best payroll that you're ever going to be on, because it's the best paycheck you'll ever receive, and it's a feeling paycheck. It's not talking money necessarily. That will be probably the byproduct of your actions. If it comes, it comes, but it's not something you're going to be really, really rewarded with galactic feelings, like I say all the time. And those can bring you to such a higher height, because now you're on a high with life. You're not down and out with life, like in our dark state, default state. In our default state, we're down and out. Like, you can tell me you're hopping in if you're in front of the TV and get lobotomized all day long and not creating anything here on this earth. You're here to create love. Like we said, create love. You're here to create love something. So align yourself with love, 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 love. Give everything that your heart has, in the good sense of your good heart. Like, we're all good-hearted people, but often there's a lack of coherency. So it's not because we don't have a good heart. There's just, we've been programmed to be incoherent, and that's what the system wants us to be incoherent, to hurt ourselves the most possible. And the best possible way to hurt yourself is the incoherency with what it is to be a human. That's my math.
Right. Yeah, and this thing with the mass is like P at other times too is given the algorithm that we all need to kind of compute and put into our awareness that like actions have consequences.
Yeah.
And so we want to take the actions that are going to, as far as we can tell, have a positive result, not just for the short term, but also for the long term. And
the seed you plant today, you will probably reap the effect in like maybe 5 years. Like the bamboo tree takes 5 years on the ground.
Exactly.
5 years. And then once it starts shooting out, watch out. Now it's coming.
Yeah.
So you might be the same. So that's why stressing ourselves out with outcome and stuff is completely nonsense, because just plant seeds and let the nature do the rest.
Right.
The rain will come in due time, wet the ground and stuff. Same for you. You gotta trust in the process also. You cannot just go out and expect everything if you're not on the grateful side of life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And it's all a process of maturation too. When you really can start putting together those 2 points, actions have consequences, and okay, what am I doing? How am I living my life? And how can I start to change what I'm doing? There's going to have to be we're going to have to start setting limits in places in our life, or give things up that aren't, like going in the direction that we want to go. This, like P's talking about the mass, the people want meditation, or they want like a healthy body, but then they also have cigarettes and they have alcohol. So, there's some things that we're gonna have to be like, okay, look, even though this is promoted by society and social groups and things like that, like actually you need to look at it for what it is and say, you know what, I don't want that. Even though I can be kind of with the people and, puffing a stogie and blowing the smoke out or whatever with the group, you don't have to do that, and it's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve your well-being or your happiness or your evolution in the long run. So there's this lyric. It goes, so I need to stop being the way that, well, how does it go? I want to give up the ways that are making me be the way that I don't want to be. And so, you're going to have to like kind of put those limits on yourselves. And it's like I said, a process of maturation and like actually becoming, more looking at reality, facing it, and just being able to, be, mature and adult about it. And
become the version of yourself that you needed when you were young.
Yeah. Right.
That's good. That's what I aim all the time, is to become the person that I needed when I was young, to teach me.
Mm-hmm.
Teach me about life, teach me about natural stuff. So I'm becoming that person more and more each and every day that I log in. You put the login, put the fire on, and let's go. It's a one-time experience in this suit. You have a suit. Like, we have a wrong idea of what the suit is also.
Right.
The suit is, you already have a suit. It's your skin. It's your body. So, exactly.
Right.
So do something with the body. The body is also the bow, and the soul is the arrow. So you want to shoot up in the sky. You don't want to shoot down in hell. So shoot up.
Exactly.
Even shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you're gonna land among the stars.
That's it.
That's what Les Brown always says, and that always had great effect on me. But can we? Where is the moon? Where are the stars? That's still to be defined for me. But
right.
I don't know really much about that kind of stuff, and no, I don't. For me, it's just a mystery, everything surrounding me. But that's what also should be natural for us, is to find mystery with life. It's very unnatural to go around and pretend you know everything. Right. Very unnatural. A natural human being doesn't know. You don't know nothing. Like, even talk about protein. Have you seen a protein? You don't even know what protein is, but you talk about it all day long.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I said, minerals and stuff, okay, like I can take it in my hand. Salt, I can take it in my hand and see it and stuff. Other minerals too, like there's stuff I can touch, but the protein, what the protein is, what you can bring it on the plate, the protein? Like to me, I get lost in that kind of buzzword that people
Right.
engage in. But again, that's part of being a natural, because you pretend to know what protein is. You talk about it all day long, and you blah, 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 like just repeating stuff. So unnaturality is also being like a parrot. You go
Mhm.
around and you parrot stuff like crazy. You don't even have a clue what it is.
Exactly.
Same like anything. Like they shoot at you for just to mess with your rise, because you
Mhm.
should be rising, not falling. So you should
Right.
rise in love, not fall in love. You see what they tell us to do? Oh, I fell in love. What do you mean you fell? What do you mean you fell? Like, where is
Right.
that?
Mhm.
You rise in love. You rise in love with iron divine. You rise in love with the earth. All this will change your vocabulary first. Change. Observe the words you speak, and you
Mhm.
will realize that maybe you're on a downfall instead of on a rise and shine side of life.
Right.
Frank, you want to do another one? Do you have somewhere to go, or?
I do have a couple of things, so maybe
Okay.
we'll put the next one on
Yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah,
following week.
yeah, yeah. That's good. It's an hour in anyway, so it was
Yeah.
a pleasure. A real. I feel very fortunate, very that you're here. Do this with me. First of all, I give thanks for you being here, and just that for me is like it's just that you take time and come here and share with us, share your being and share your perspective is gold for me. Perspective is gold. Like, we have a wrong idea of what gold is. Gold is not a metal. Gold is perspective. And
Right.
once you change that, you bring that to another level. Now you're in the gold realm.
Yeah.
I see it like this. Maybe we have a wrong idea of what gold is. Anyway, large up, everyone, and rise and shine. That's always my message. No, I don't want to send message because it's gonna mess with you. Yeah, mess age. It's gonna mess with your age.
Right.
Ah, that's what it does. It's gonna mess with your age. So I'm gonna send you not an advice too, because I don't want to have the vice on your head.
Right.
So
Right.
it's very complicated when it comes to
Yeah.
speaking words in English and
Well,
French, in all languages. And no, hey, it's so much.
I'm
Anyway, I'll
super
just leave it
grateful.
like that.
I'm grateful to come here with you and yeah,
Yeah,
reason and put our attention on this truth and these perspectives that
yeah,
Pete shares with us. It really helps us to refine and reflect on our own lives, and that's, we need to keep doing that and keep turning the wheel of our growth and moving toward positivity and higher living. So Pete
if
helps
we
us to do
don't do
that.
that, what are we gonna do? Like, if it's not about evolution, that's what I realized too. This experience on Earth is about evolving. You
Yes.
must evolve in a different. Maybe you must die a few times in order to really live. Also,
Mhm.
definitely, you must observe the Earth and the beauty and feel the beauty. That's one thing we have that we can also enjoy a lot is the beauty around us. Maybe
Yeah.
that will help to grow into a more natural and fully coherent being that we should be. I
Yeah.
don't think we're meant to be trapped in darkness. So that's why we're going to expose the traps, the Babylonian traps.
Mhm.
So, large up, Frank. I'm going to end this one there and we'll see each other. It always goes super fast. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
An
Yeah.
hour in, it's like I just logged in with you.
Yeah.
Now it freezes again. No, it's
We'll
okay.
we'll return for another strong and on another moon day. We'll come back
Yeah,
with
man.
P's words.
Boom. We're up.
Boom.
Large up. It's all love. It's always been love. It will always be love. I don't. Everything else is freaking illusion for me today. So love, love, love. See ya. Boom.
Peace.
We're up.